verse, voice, and witness. Another Stays In production.
Welcome to Crossfade Commons. Woo, Afterglow Sundays with your host, Big Crave, Miss Lady, and the Southern Soul of Soul, Angel Kim. We welcome you to this live stream we're getting down today, and we welcome all of you. We pray that your health and your insight and your overall being is abundant today. We are going to speak today about a various gamut of topics, so to speak, but it's going to be one focus, and we are ready to tackle this thing. This is Stays In, y'all. This is Crossfade Commons, and I'm your host, Big Crave, along with Miss Lady and Southern Soul. Miss Lady, how you doing today? How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Yes. Well,
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday to you also. We are doing good, aka Southern Soul. How you doing today, lady? How you doing? I hope everything is well with you today.
I am well. I am well.
That's good. All right, so let's jump into it, guys. Let's jump into it. So I want to dive into the perspective, the discipline, and I can't use too many medical terms because I'm not licensed. I have that support around me, but I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm not, so I'm just going to put this disclaimer out. I'm not a licensed therapist. I don't practice any medicine, but I do practice mindfulness, and it more than qualifies me to speak on this subject. So we're going to talk today about pride and the ego and mental health, and how both these units or these constructs work together. All right. So we're filling a void. We're questioning. We're Q&Aing, and we're responding, and we're giving a language, a tone, and a signal to it. And we want to talk about it. And this phrase popped out so powerful. I was talking to my friend earlier, and she gave me a phrase that was so powerful, that it was so heavy, that I wanted to explore it. And it kind of went into pride also. Okay. So on this Afterglow Sunday, and every Afterglow Sunday, every Stays In published, everything we're going to do is going to be directed at making you better. And this is our goal. This is our directive. This is our challenge for this time and era. And we want to make sure that you get it. But the phrase goes like this: we are not in a time where your ego can survive you. Oh, wow. What is that? Listen, man, listen. We are not, people, beloved. We are not in a time where your ego can survive you. Watch this. The phrase carries so much weight that we have to give an etymology to it. We have to break down this whole phrase. We have to break down. We know what time is, right? We know what time is. We know where that comes from. It's a limited space. Time is actually a limited space. Well, we operate in this space, and we use time as a measurement for our daily living activities. We use time as a measurement to judge and to gauge. We use time for those things. It divides things up. It's a measured period, all right? It's not just clock time, but it's an appointed seasoning. It's appointed season for your mind. It's appointed season for you to grasp and get what it is. You know, I like to use the Bible, y'all, as a metaphysical tool. Always, I like to use it. And I'm not kind of, you know, I don't want to step on nobody's toes, but there's a scripture in Ecclesiastes that says, to everything there's a season. All right. So let's base that. To everything there's a season. And sometimes the ego works in where you want to have a season of change, the ego won't allow you to change. Sometimes the ego won't allow you to evolve. It won't allow you to do that, and that affects your mental health. You know, we know in psychology, the ego was popularized through Sigmund Freud. God bless him. Whatever he does, those that are in the school of thought of psychology, I salute you, because that right there, I did it. I did get an A in it. I did get an A. I got an A in it. But then when they were talking about typing and making all these what my school was, and I just went on and drifted to the side and went and played basketball. Okay, so that's what I did instead of me doing it. But later on, I come to find out that it was something that we needed. Okay, now it's popularized through Sigmund Freud. The ego became consciousness of self. It's what your consciousness. Now they got two more parts to that. I'm not dealing with that. We're just talking about ego and culturally. What does that mean? Does the ego give you self-importance? Does it give you an inflated identity? Is that inflated identity is it a driven self-preservation type thing, or is it something that can be meddled over? It's something that can be rearranged, right? And is it attached in you in an image? Is that image of your ego in truth? We're going to explore that. We're going to explore that. And here's what I know. The ego, it's as a man. I'm not talking about anybody else. As a man, my pride, I'm going to keep it in the eye. My pride sometimes has driven me away from solutions. Okay? My pride and my ego has driven me away from solutions sometimes. And it becomes a false throne that I sit on. You know what I'm saying? Where the person crowns himself, or they can crown himself like superior God of intelligence. And look at us as men. And we missed the mark, brothers. Brothers, we missed the mark because of our ego. This is a cohabitation thing. This is a law of gender, male and female. We have to balance this thing against the system. So sometimes when we hear from our significant others, and sometimes when we hear from the feminine side of things, it is reasoning, it is rational sometimes, and we need to get that focus in our minds. I'm not going to ramble too long, but I'm going to get into it. Surviving, surviving, super. What is above it? How are we beyond it? How's the ego beyond reasoning sometimes? And I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to put a pin in that, because the reason why I want to put a pin in that is because why are we surviving now, Miss Lady? Why are we just surviving now on the period of ego in our unawareness? Where are we surviving in our ego, in our unawareness? And I'm going to segue and let you have this point. I want to put a pin in that because I'm going to keep going.
I mean, you're doing well so far.
I know. Thank you so much.
I mean, when I think about that, I've been thinking about it a lot, because there are a lot of people who are saying, well, what do? We know what the issues are, so what do we do? Where do we go from here? And then, we say, well, we have to do this together, and nobody mentions what gets in the way. Pride gets in the way.
My God.
Ego gets in the way. And it's not just in the world with you and the world, it's you interpersonally, you with someone else, or as Dr. Livingston, we do the room together on Clubhouse, would say, you and the other. And so nobody talks enough about that. We can't work together if we're going to allow pride and our egos to get in the way. So now what do we do with that?
What do we do? And here's something that's interesting, and I'm gonna come over to you, Southern Soul, in a minute. So this would be a true statement. If you concur with this statement or not, and I'm going to ask the same statement to my two co-hosts, my beautiful friends. Is the ego fighting for survival while destroying the actual inner us? Question, Miss Lady. Is the ego destroying while we're fighting for survival? Now, let's keep it in context. Okay, we know the situation, what's going on in the world. We know what this in this administration. Is that a viable asset? Saying, hey, look, I need an ego with this thing. Or Come on now. You know where I'm going. You know where I'm going, Miss Lady. You know, is that a viable asset to have in this current time? Because it could be fighting for survival, but destroying me at the same time. I'm gonna let you go with that one.
I mean, so yeah, I think that if you really do go down the rabbit hole, and as most of you know, I'm frequently found in a rabbit hole or more, sometimes many at the same time. You will find that if we could get past our egos, maybe we could get a lot more done. So the ego, if for those who are not really familiarized with it, it's that conscious sense of self, identity, self-esteem,
Yes.
that I that interacts with the world.
Yes.
And you know, the issue, I mean, if we really wanted to go all the way back to Freud, ego, superego, all that good stuff, then we'd be here all day. So let's not do that. But I think that if we wanted to look at ego and pride are different things. They're not actually the same. They can overlap. Pride is an emotional response, and that's tied to your achievements, growth, and values. Whereas ego is that internal sense of self-importance. So the destruction part, I mean, if you take those definitions, then you can kind of do with it as you please and travel down the rabbit hole. But as long as we understand, as I always say, that definition, something that means one thing to one person can mean something different to another. So
so let me ask you this, Southern Soul. Let me ask you this. Is pride okay? And she said it so eloquently. She said that pride is an emotional response. So are we as a culture mature enough to handle, in your opinion, Southern Soul, the emotional response with it? As a lady, I'm gonna say as a woman, as a woman, because I got to use it in the eye for me. So is that something where it could collapse, where it could expire fast in one gender or another? You get what I'm asking, Miss Lady, Southern Soul? Could that thing be somewhere else? I'm going to ask you, AK.
Okay, ask that question one more time.
Okay, is pride in a place where she said it was an emotional response, right? Like pride is an emotional response to something where the ego is a construct. The ego is a building, so to speak, and what you put in it, you know what I'm saying? And then you can take it in and out. You really can't destroy the building, but you can, change the structure in the building, so to speak. So does it expire faster with women or with the female gender and that law of gender? Or is it an equal thing do you think between men and women? And I'm gonna come back to you, Miss Lady, on the same question. Go ahead, son.
I'm not going to say it's a gender thing at all. I'm going to say it's a person thing. Because there's different levels of pride. There's a level of pride to where I take pride in everything that I do. But then there's that level of pride to where I'm too prideful to ask for help. I'm too prideful to put myself out there, because I'm afraid of failure. So for me, there's levels of pride, and that depends on a person and their upbringing and what they were exposed to. So I'm not going to say it's a gender thing.
Same question, Miss Lady.
yeah, I think it's a human thing. I think that's just for humanity in general. Any person can have the same issues, or any person can overcome the same issues. It's just a personhood.
Yeah, that's good. Because I understood this as a man, that my pride collapsed very quickly. It goes like it collapses, like it, and I'm just being transparent here. And I have to use the example of my significant other, my wife. Shout out to her. Shout out to my best friend, my wife, of a very many years. I'm going to say this. My pride actually allows me to be adaptable to certain things when I'm listening, not with my ego, but with my conscious ears. And it has saved me. Miss Lady knows. She has spoken to me about several things. It has saved me. Brothers, listen to me. My adaptability of my pride helps my humility. It helps my self-awareness, and it gives me truth in my performance. It gives me truth so that I'm able to say, hey, I wasn't quite right about that. Now, I'm not saying not standing your truth, brothers. I'm just using this thing, not standing your truth, brothers, but that pride. And they both kind of gave the consensus of what I was saying as far as, it's a personal thing. But I often find that the pride of a man is stronger than the pride of a woman. I swear to God, just me, because and it punishes me, in a sense because I get stubborn. But my ego wants to say, in the He-Man Woman Haters Club of International Truth, you are king of your dominion. And then the next thing you know, baby, can I? No, you didn't want. No, you didn't want. No. So that shuts that down. You see what I'm saying? And it's just an adaptability thing. So Miss Lady, how does adaptability, being able to adapt the ego, right? Adapt the ego to remove the pride. Let's go with that. To remove the pride. And you see where I'm going. You kind of see where your brother's going.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily think that you have to remove it, but I do believe that you need to, you have to kind of put it in its place. You can't be ruled by your pride. So to a certain extent, pride is necessary. So for a perfect example of that is, EDJ, came back to be with, for a while, she was trying to downplay her achievements. Oh, no, we can't talk about that. We can't talk about the fact that I won the championship. We can't talk about, the fact that I just got, my such and such belt, because that's bragging, because that's ego. And I said, it's a very big difference between bragging and showcasing your achievements, explaining, your teachers didn't know that you won that. Saying that you accomplished something is very different from you being egoist and saying, yeah, I can beat everybody. Yeah, there's a very big difference. And so, and that's the only reason why I've gotten better with, we must define things, is because of my daughter, because she is very literal. And when you say certain things, she's gonna come back and she'll be like, well, I don't know if we should be doing that. And that was a very good point for her, because, we tell children, if we're raising them in the spirit, if we're raising them with values, then they will come back with that. And so the point of the matter was that I had to teach her that there's a you can be humble, you can be humble, you can do that, and still appreciate your accomplishments. You can appreciate them. You can celebrate them with your supporters. You can do that. You can also do that without shoving it down someone else's throat.
That's a good one. Shoving it down someone else's throat. So does and I gotta ask it because you're the professional here. So I'm mostly gleaning off this. So unchecked narcissism and pride, are they the same?
Unchecked narcissism. So this is a difference. And it kind of just people have been throwing this word around a lot. And narcissism is a DSM actual diagnosis. So let's just start there.
Okay, let's go. Come on, let's go with that.
That's a diagnosis.
And I'm interested because the ideology of that, I've dealt with people like that. I've dealt with people like the world revolved around them. They wouldn't take your comments. They don't take your, I'm learning this facilitator thing, and I've been around people who could not understand that, so to speak, okay? They can't understand that. So does that make them a narcissist?
No, see, first and foremost, unless that person was diagnosed or you are a professional and you can diagnose folks, we should not, like your ex, your boyfriend, your girlfriend.
Right.
You're not a narcissist just because they thought highly of themselves. Like we got to stop doing that. We have to stop putting labels on people. They can absolutely be a little full of themselves. They can be egotistical, but we can say that about them. But to say, I've heard people say schizoid. I've heard people say bipolar. I've heard people say OCD. these are labels. These are actual diagnostic labels that you need a professional to apply said
Kind of put
label
it in
to.
perspective. Yeah. And
So
I'm so glad you tackled that, because I don't want to, like, I can say, well, I'm not just use this as a joke, but oh God, I can't wait to taste Southern Soul's red velvet cheesecake. Like, I want to, I
now I'm
can't
hungry.
look, I can't wait to taste it, right? But I don't want to be in a place where I'm saying, hey, I must taste it now. You better let me taste it right now. And the construct doesn't allow that. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't allow that. So I don't want to get in my head about saying I'm expecting something. This is the point I'm making. I'm expecting something out of something that I haven't yet not judged. I don't want to judge it. So that's so powerful that what you said about narcissism, because unchecked. And some people, I've learned, and I learned that ego and pride. I learned that pride and narcissism are really just totally, they're the opposite of what it is. Because if this brother feels good about himself, he's loving himself, he's confident, he's doing everything he's supposed to do, and then you get that one through the crew, man, why you do that for? Why you gotta take your shirt off while you playing basketball? Because the girls. I'm like, man, maybe because he's sweating, and maybe he's just scored 15 points on you. You know what I mean? Maybe, you know what I mean? But anyway, let's keep it moving. Southern Soul. Let me ask you something. If the soul, if your whole being says, if your whole being talks in reference to saying, how can I not have pride about certain things, then what would that look like? So let me give you an example of the question. The pride of what I'm saying, the all pride. Like, I love to write, okay? I love to write. I love to express my writing, and I take pride in that. But I can take correction. This is where I'm going. So when people get in modes like that, is it hard to deal with those type people? Because they're prideful. Or me for myself, I love when someone says, when Miss Lady says, well, hey man, won't you do that take again? Won't you put this here? And she has done it. Won't you just think, hey, look, man, you're doing too much. Just, okay, I'm sorry. And then my ego says, who's she telling, see, you get it? She gets it because she's laughing. But your thing, Southern Soul, now watch this, your thing about it, and correction, being corrective. And I know you facilitate a lot of things. You have facilitated a lot of things, and you've been humble about it. But then when they don't listen to the correction part of that, how does that guide you into saying, well, I'm not saying help, I'm saying just correction. Just, I have to correct you on this thing with me. Not prideful, but you get what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying, Miss Lady? You get it?
So basically, how do I look at it? Like, if I correct someone,
yeah,
and
correct
they don't
someone,
receive it,
they don't receive it, but it's not given out of pride. It's not a prideful thing. Like you'll tell me, hey, bro, the other night, he's like, hey, listen, don't have that light like that. You know what I'm saying? I said, okay, yeah, it's gonna be, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Listening, me trying to hear. How does that affect the ego? How does that affect your pride? How does that affect that? I hope I'm asking it right.
I mean, for me, when I'm just giving out notes like that, I have learned a few things along the way. You can't give advice to everybody because not everybody wants your advice. Some people feel like you're not qualified to give them that advice. Or they look at you like, oh, you must think you better than me by trying to tell me what to do. And I've run into that when I'm literally just genuinely just giving you some tips. And I tell people all the time, hey, take what you need, throw the rest away. It's totally up to you. This is just what I do, or this is what I've learned, or what I've experienced. Do with that what you will. I don't let it mess with me as far as how I look at, people. But it also depends on how they reply to me. So if I say something to someone and then they come at me with an attitude, then I'm like, oh, well, you got it then. Do what you do. And I'm gonna laugh.
You hear that Southern hospitality sass in there. I heard it. I heard it.
So that moves. Go ahead, Miss Lady. You want to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, do what you do. I'm just
Go
gonna
ahead,
sit
Miss
back
Lady.
and watch it
I'm
all
listening 'cause
crumble. You
she's
know.
laughing now, so I want to hear this.
No, you heard how she said. I heard that. I heard it.
Yeah, because I'm just gonna sit back and I'm gonna watch how it unfolds. It's either
So
gonna work for
so
you or it's gonna crumble for you. And if it crumbles for you, then I'm just gonna smile and keep going.
so
I'm
there's
not
no
gonna say I told
validation
you
there.
so.
So
Or
this is the point I'm making. I thank Source. I thank God for this because He's helping me. God is just directing this thing for me. So is it a validation type thing? Is it
um,
a validation type thing? How does this affect me, Miss Lady? How does
mm,
it? You know what I'm saying? Is it a validation type thing? Because I personally don't need any validation on anything. I don't need it, but it's not prideful.
yeah,
Am I
yeah.
going in the right space, y'all? Am I at it? Is that
No,
really where it's at? Because let's check this out now. Because my validation or my control, or if I got an offense with somebody, or if I'm offending something, it protects my identity. But my validation is saying, look, man, I'm just trying to help. Does that make sense? I'm just trying to help. And then
yeah, most definitely.
I've heard
Because
stories from all of us about how you're just trying to help someone, just trying to
yeah,
help someone, and they don't get it. And that right there affects,
yeah.
it's fragile,
So
like it affects things, you know. And I'm gonna go down that road a little bit, and I'm gonna stay
well,
with
let me say this. Let me say this.
okay.
So what I am doing now, because that has affected me along the way, is I'm asking people, well, if you like, I can give you some. I'm doing my approach differently. In other
Mm-hmm,
words, so
mm-hmm.
my approach has changed. And if they say sure, then I give them the advice. But if they say, I'll let you know, that lets me know they don't want it, and I keep it pushing.
Facts, facts,
So
facts.
now my approach is different, because before I was just like trying to hand out advice like, you know, candy. Like, hey, everybody wants one to, like Oprah. You get advice, you get advice, you get advice. But now it's
Casting
just
them
like,
pearls, baby. Casting them
yeah.
pearls.
So now it's like, well, if you like some help, or if you like, some information, I can give you that. But if not, I keep it pushing.
Yeah, and there's no discernment there with that. And I'm using that word in a general, like discerning. You know, y'all look it up. Y'all know what discernment is. There's no discernment that it's like they can't grab. And I'm gonna say they have difficulty or they're challenged. And I wrote it down by
It's ego. It's ego.
yeah,
I've been there.
yeah.
I've definitely
You
been
feel
there.
what I'm saying, y'all?
Don't tell me. I know what I'm doing. It's fine. I don't really
Oh,
need
my
your help.
people.
It's cool.
Listen, guys, I got to say this, and I'm gonna kind of pause in here. I work with two of the most beautiful people on the planet. I'm talking about in this whole planet. I work with people that actually listen. Listen, guys, listen, people. If you're not around people who that you can listen to and learn and get collective feedback that feeds you those signals, and maybe we're later on we'll talk about what signals are, what you need to do with these signals. We're going to talk about what your tongue says, and this is all segueing. All these going to mean something. I promise you they're going to be in a row. I promise you they're going to be in a row. This series of what we're doing is going to be in a row. It's going to be beautiful. But if you're not surrounding around those people that have the intention for your growth, you have missed the mark. I am telling you on this stream right here, me, Big Crave, the Lyrical Exodus, on this Afterglow Sunday, I'm going to tell you that you have missed the mark. If you are not around people that is helping you with these signals, we get all these signals, and it goes, and the ego says, hey, man, hold on, wait a minute, I'm 52. I'm trying to block this thing. I'm trying to get these signals out of the way. And then my ego says, you don't need that. They're not taketh it. So then I got to be able to perceive those intentions. So if you're not around those people that help you like that, you missed the mark. But we're going to keep it moving. We're going to keep it moving. Let me say this. Is there a conflict here? And I'm going to ask you, Miss Lady, because you're so the professionalism. And y'all, if you don't
Oh, me.
The music and all of that, man. I mean, them two, Southern Soul, they work so hard in this thing of ours we got, in this community we have. They work very, very hard for this. And I have to give them flowers. I have to do that because I had to learn. And at the age that I am now, I wouldn't be the gentleman, the poet, the facilitator, the authenticity of this culture of being aware. I wouldn't be where I'm at without them. So I got to say that. But I got to ask this question, Miss Lady. Ego wants to be right. The ego reacts. The ego interrupts. And the ego protects. Which is most important?
Well, I mean, if you know, because I'm credentialed in trauma therapy,
Yes.
really to a certain degree, all of it's important. It's the question is, are we blocking our blessings? Are our coping mechanisms blocking our blessings? So protection is necessary, you know, and depending on what arena you're in, what group of people are you around? You're not always around safe people. You're not always in a safe space. You're not always in a support system, as it was brought up to me near the end of last year, which is the reason why I created the course, so to speak, to assist people with holidays and going back to childhood, so to speak, and how do you deal with that as an adult? So, I mean, to a certain degree, it's all necessary. But I mean, again, like I said, I've definitely been there. I've learned a lot from my daughter, but a lot of us parents really do have this issue with learning from the young. What can you teach me? You ain't been on this earth as long as I have. And, you know, if we could sit back for a second, because the first time my daughter came out, her face was something. I was like, but if you sit back and you think about it, if you sit your little ego to the side and chain it to a chair for a second, maybe they had a point. A lot of the tunes that I'm coming out with, some of that stuff, EDJ has been around for. It had to pass her first. I got to a point where instead of going with what I want to hear, what my ears like, what my generation likes, I invited her in. And when she goes, I go, tell me why. What is it about that you don't? So I had to sit my ego down and have a conversation with it and say, we're not going to cater to you all the time. Sit over there for a second.
And I love that.
Because of that, I was able to I was able to open my mind. And when we say open our mind, are we really doing that? Well, I was really able to open my mind and experience her world. I'm still not going to jam to a lot of her music, but to really understand why is it that she likes that? What does it do for her nervous system? What is it about? Because if you think about it, every generation has the same issue. We didn't want to listen to our parents' music. Our parents didn't want to listen to their parents' music. There's something about every generation's nervous system that does something different. And so that's why I say, you know, there's a level of protection, there's a level of interruption that is necessary, but if it's going to block it. So if I was the typical person who said, you can't teach me anything, whatever, I would have missed out on a lot. And so would our members, so would our community, because they would not have access to the wide range of the musical selections, the playlists, et cetera, because again, she's the one who, I mean, her generation is going to take over, right? So I have to listen to that because that's where the new ideas, the fresh, the novel ideas are coming from. So that's my answer for that. To a certain degree, we do need these things, but you also have to recognize when your defense mechanisms are blocking your blessings.
That is so beautiful. And I hear this so loud. It's like the ego can turn a conversation into a courtroom.
That's a prompt. Yo, Southern Soul, you got that one?
The ego can turn a conversation into a courtroom, man. Because you know what you said, and like I say, now me and my generation, I'm a little older than you guys, not that much, but you know, I love my parents' music because I understood it. You know, I understood it even more. And then what I couldn't get with, and my mom liked it, and I have to, this is a memory for me, so let's just go with it. My mother loved Fats Domino back in the days. If y'all knew Fats Domino, come on, work it, and all that, you know, all twist and all that. And I was like, what the world is that? And then when I heard the Fat Boys use that sample twist, I was like, I am done. So you're right. And those conversations about music, those conversations about their identity, those conversations about people who just come to you for general love and you know, and information, you know, and then it should switch. So, oh God help me. If the conversation, ego turns the conversation to a courtroom, then understanding should turn into a classroom.
Okay, well, go
Right?
ahead and preach on Sunday.
No. I'm saying it should do that, right? Because
Lovely.
I'm telling you guys, I got an epiphany. If I'm learning like I'm learning now, then I'm look at me. I'm steady writing. I'm learning, and I'm not. Listen, guys, I'm doing the job that I feel I can do. And I'm learning this, y'all. So I'm telling everybody, I'm being transparent. I've never done this. So I'm learning to do this. Now it's turning to a classroom. I'm not saying I couldn't do it. I'm not saying that. But, you know, it's saying respect me. My ego says, now just respect that fact that you can say, you know, instead of a courtroom when we're having conversations, instead of me saying, hey, Miss Lady, nah, you're wrong. Pumpernickels are green. No, we know pumpernickels are not green, y'all. You know, and I got plenty of jokes with it, but it's not feasible. So let's look at the conclusion of it and saying, let's reveal the truth. And I got to remember that. I said, what did I say? Ego turns conversations into courtrooms, but understanding turns conversations into classrooms, right?
Yes.
Somebody write that down.
That's what I just.
Okay, please.
She can tell me whether she got it or not.
Please write that down. Write that down. And that's free, y'all. Y'all can have that one. But that's to my crew. That's my crew. We're Tres Dorvia, by the way. We want y'all to know that we are Tres Dorvia. We will always be Tres Dorvia. And that's very important. And if you don't know what that is, you don't need to know what that is. But we know what it is. So anyway, let's keep going. So can ego build a wall around identity? Yes. Understanding opens windows. Yes. Does the ego need an applause, or does understanding need clarity?
Why are you asking the hard questions today?
Yeah,
understanding definitely needs clarity.
Okay, let's go there. Okay, so per se, and understanding needs clarity because we're on the ego, we're on pride. So what does clarity do? What does the clarity do? Definition for you. It ain't got to be right or wrong. You already know what we're doing. You already know what we're doing. So
I mean, clarity gives you a better understanding because your understanding can only be as clear as the information you're given. If you're given half the information, then your understanding is only going to be half of what it should be. So the more clarity you have on a situation, the more clarity and knowledge you have on anything, your understanding will be much better. But if you are coming half-wit, then your understanding is never going to be a par. It's always going to be subpar.
You know what? I got this epiphany, y'all, and I got to say this because people don't think. Miss Lady, no, I pay attention. So we got this community where we give out certain things. Miss Lady might go on Instagram, IG, Miss Lady, IG is Miss Lady stays in, IG, hint. She will go and put something up, say, when you enter a room, what speaks first? Do you listen long enough to hear what the silence is trying to say? Are we listening long enough for that? And these little small Jews, now that they come back, and I swear, I think what she done was she sent a Ludium XP space modulator to space and time to my brain. And what happened was it implanted in my frontal lobe. And we're joking here, but when I got into Stay Zen, when I got into this house, when I got into this room on the school app, and I'm going to say this, I learned that something enters a space with me. And when it enters a space with me, I can either do two things with it. I can listen to it and not judge it, or I can wait for it to give me a signal and then get clarity. Boy, Crave, you listening. Listen, let me tell you something. I'll be listening. I can wait for this thing to speak, right? Ego, I can wait for it either to speak or I can listen to it long enough to be understanding that if it's not saying nothing, then what is the silence saying to me? And this is where we change our awareness. We change our mental construct. We change our mind. We change those nerve endings. And I don't know the technical part of it, but I know it works because I am a product of it. I'm telling you, y'all, I'm a product of this. I'm a product of what she's putting down, what she has put down, and it stays in. What she has put down in this thing, I am a product of it, and it helps me. It has helped me to become a great learning facilitator. And I'm putting that out there. Miss
And
Lady,
you know what's funny is I didn't make any of this stuff up. Like,
no, I don't. So let's elaborate.
It's just yeah. A lot of this came from a lot of people who've been on Clubhouse for as long as Beta know. I started off a lot of things with saying my dad told us, my dad taught us, my dad. And literally, a lot of it came from him. And then, I went to school, learn. But my dad said a lot of the stuff, like you learn more from keeping your mouth shut and listening than saying a whole bunch of stuff. And it took many, many years to finally learn that. But if you think about it, you do. You mentioned something about clarity, and here is why I believe that a lot. That's why we have we're about to start the memberships, but we will always have free memberships, because I believe that information is extremely important. I believe that everyone should be able to make decisions based on information, because a lot of the problems that we have and have had in the past is that everybody is not on the same playing field when it comes to information. You talk to 10 people and 10 people have 10 different ideas of why we are in this situation. And that's a problem. I haven't talked to a single person who said that they understand the link between this and this yet. There hasn't been a single person. And that's a problem. It means that information is being hijacked. It means that information is not getting to people. It means that you hear this and you hear this, and you guys are coming up with different things. And unfortunately, that means that your decisions are not being made based on all of the available information. So you don't have clarity. And if you don't have clarity, then you can't make informed decisions, but you think you are. And so that's what's so important. It's so important to be able to have clarity. But to have clarity, you need all of the information.
So with that, all the information, right, and the clarity. So does that say to the ego under pride, that it survives by hiding the weakness?
Here's the thing. You don't need to hide the weakness. That's another thing that society got wrong. Society is teaching men that emotions and crying is a weakness. The society is teaching women that needing anybody is a weakness. No, none of that. No, that's wrong. That's not the right way to look at it. Because what happens is, if you look at it that way, then you end up, look at any child and think about how this works. I don't know how to do math, and so I will not raise my hand in class because it is a weakness, and the other kids are going to laugh at me. And so therefore, I'd rather sit here, and any adult knows exactly what I'm talking about, because you were either a teacher, or you were that kid, or you knew that kid, or you're the parent of that kid. And that's one of the things. We never sat down and said, like I told my daughter, listen, you'd rather not raise your hand and say, I need to have this answer. But here's the thing. I wouldn't want to do that either. So let's talk about this for a second. What are some other ways that you can get this answer? You could go after class. You could. Y'all got email now. Email the teacher.
Yeah.
We're still stuck on linear.
Yeah.
There's one way to do it. And so we've spent so many years teaching kids, and we were taught the same way. Oh, just ignore what the kids have to say. No, we're not doing that, because I got to go to school with these kids, because here means something in that stage of development. If you know Piaget's developmental stages, that means something. So stop telling these kids, nah, it's fine. It doesn't. You knew it did. It meant something to you too. So that's my thing, is that, the weakness part. No.
We
Here's
stopped
the thing.
teaching problem solving. That's the problem.
Oh, come on, because you was I was just getting ready to get into
and that's exactly what that is. The problem solving part, the linear thinking. The only one way to do it.
And being solution minded about it. And then y'all say, oh, y'all so beautiful. I love you. Listen.
And what happens is it carries over from our youth to adulthood.
I agree.
And then you're adults who can't solve problems.
So we're asking now solution-minded questions, because we're getting ready to, we're kind of going home now. We're around third base.
Winding it down.
We're winding it down. So you ask, what does that healing look like now? So now we're solution-minded. I got it, Miss Lady. I'm telling you, Miss Lady. Listen. So what is the healing like? What was fractured? What was ignored? What needs restoration? And the ego says, look, we're solution. Now we're in the solution-minded phase. We went through the cause, went through the effect. We went through the etymology of it. We went through all of these things. Now we're in the solution part of this conversation, right? And so we asking what got fractured. Bam. She gave an example. Southern Seoul gave Miss Lady gave another example. What was ignored? Information, right? Clarity, right? We getting that. What needs to be restored? The ego might say, I don't need no help. The ego say, I don't need no help. That's the ego, right? Then I got Kazoo on the show. He said, oh, look at you now, dum-dum. What are you going to do now, dum-dum? But then healing says, be honest. Come on. Am I working this thing? Listen, healing will tell you to be honest about it. Don't say you don't need no help. Brothers, don't say you don't need no help. Don't say you don't need no help. Be honest, because that's the first part of healing. And your healing cannot get past, your healing has to be something that is a solution-based construct about yourself. I ain't trying to preach, y'all. I'm just trying to give it to you. Listen, healing says I need to be honest, right? Watch this. Watch this. The ego will say, I said, Miss Lady, you hurt me. You hurt my feelings. But then I turn around and say, well, Miss Lady, I can tell you that you hurt my feelings. But that pain that you said, that little smaller bit of pain that I had, it shouldn't be a prison, right? Oh, y'all work with me. Come on. This is the Lyrical Exodus. This is Afterglow Sundays, y'all. I'm feeling this thing in my spirit. Listen, ego wants to say, I'll prove my worth, right? And then it turns around and says, well, nothing missing in the first place. Nothing was missing. You just didn't know what to do with the information. And guess what? This is what Afterglow Sundays is about. We're going to give you the information. We're going to give you the tools. We're going to give you the construct. We're going to give you with all the help and the resources that we have now in this thing. Listen. With all the help that we have, we're going to make sure that you get it and let you know that your worth is never missing. The thoughts and emotions and ideas of us as a culture, especially what we're dealing with now, has to be towards being solution-minded and continual healing. And I said something in a space the other day, and I want to make sure something. And I have to say this because this is for all people. Some things have been, listen, y'all, some things have been whitewashed, but we doggone sure can't blackwash it. Okay? Let's be real about this. I am a human being. I love my people. I love my culture. I love all of those things about us. But I've learned in dealing with people that are in the therapeutic field or the field of healing or the field of the school of thought of dealing with mental health, or these people are licensed therapists and counselors. I'm learning now that my worth was never missing. My worth was never missing. I don't have to weaponize things anymore. I don't have to, I can speak on it, but I don't have to weaponize it. Look what they did to me. Look what they did. I didn't do the administration, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. Yeah. But what are you doing prepared for that? Is my ego that going where I can't prepare for that? Last point, I'm going to say this. Look at what I survived and what I learned from. And that's a world thing. And on that point, I'm going to ask Miss Lady, to that statement, what does that statement mean? Look what I survived and learned from. Look what I survived and learned from. And then we're going to do that. And we're going to move towards closing this thing out. But look at what I survived and what I've learned from it. Miss Lady.
Well, I mean, it's not falling into the victim role.
Ooh.
It's taking, I mean, because if you do one of the falling into the victim roles, then you pretty much went through all of that for no reason. So you have two choices. You could either learn and take what you learned and make something of it, or you could just keep crying about what happened. And I say that as a survivor of a bunch of things. So I think that it's so much better for me to, help more people who've been through some of the same things that I've been through, teach more people, try to keep them from having to go through the same things, as opposed to just sitting around and just doing woe is me, because woe is me doesn't get you anywhere. You're also in a really, I don't really want to say enviable position, but I do want to say that you're in a unique position because you can see things so much differently. I'm really not speaking English today, but anyway, you get it. Y'all understand, whatever. You can see things differently and in a way that most people can't. So, for example, different regions, different situations. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. We can clock danger like 5 counties away. Teach somebody else that. That the things that you went through, you can tell somebody else. You can teach somebody else. Each one teach one, right? So I think that's at the end of the day, it's so much easier to apply it than to just be buried by it.
Same question, Southern Soul. Look what I survived from. Look what I learned from. Same question.
What's the question though?
Same question. Look what I survived. If you do this,
that's not a question.
Why
that's a
she
statement.
not back yet? Just let ease up.
You know what I'm gonna do? Yo, this is an inside running joke between us, y'all. Y'all don't know. This is a perpetual joke that will never stop. Like, the question is, look what I survived and what did I learn from?
Look what I survived.
And what did I learn from it?
I survived hell and back.
Yeah.
But I'm still standing.
Still standing. Yes.
What did I learn? I learned to keep my circle smaller than small.
Come on.
To trust what I see that's right in front of me instead of what I potentially could see. And that, no matter how much you water stones, you're not going to get flowers.
Shoo, girl.
Ooh. You can potentially get flowers one day if there's magic.
But anyway, don't let
Dumbledore is not on this side.
It's not entered the chat. Well, I mean,
listen, y'all. Listen, I've enjoyed myself. I'm gonna say this last comment, and then I'm gonna segue to some housekeeping and some informational things, and then I'm gonna say this: healing begins where the ego stops performing that it's like it's invincible. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say. We're not invincible. Okay, so let us learn to heal Let us learn that when it's building, when your ego builds monuments, when your ego builds prisons, so to speak, when it builds that, let's learn that healing can build an exit out of that prison. Okay, that healing, that tone, this type of conversations, they heal from it. You know, you don't have to live with unforgiveness. You don't have to live with pain. You don't have to live with those things, because there are forums, there are places, there's information, there's help for you. And there's no thing that you won't be able to heal from without understanding the deeper truth. And that deeper truth is that what you refuse to feel, what you refuse to deal with, you often repeat. You'll continue to repeat it. So as we segue down to this thing, I want to thank y'all. I want to thank y'all today. Whenever you're going to look at it, whenever you're going to see this, whenever that you just take from this some information, some signals that can provoke thought, that it would have been a solution-minded conversation for you. And this is what we offer here. This is Afterglow Sundays, man. And I'm learning now that I am so appreciative of the platform. I'm very appreciative of the people that trusted me doing this, that gave me a voice. You know, they gave me something. They gave me, and I'm very appreciative of that. I'm very, very appreciative of that. And I want y'all to know that we're going to be doing this thing, and we're going to be digging in deeper subjects. We're going to be dealing with it today with mental health and ego and pride, you know, and we're going to be going down a road that leads to goodness, a road that leads to abundance. There might be tough conversations. There might not be tough conversations. But what we're going to do is identify ourselves with one thing and one thing only, that you can heal. You are important. And there's always a solution to any problem. Final thoughts, Miss Lady, in housekeeping.
I thought this was a good topic. I mean, we should talk about ego more. Wait, that actually might give ego a bigger ego.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if you're gonna do that. That's
Can't
like
win.
feeding the ego.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're right. And
Okay.
this is when
That's
you
a
know.
prompt. That's a
This
prompt.
is when you know it's
This
time to go.
is when you know it's time to go. All right. Final thoughts, Southern Soul. I'm so glad you're healing, sweetie. We love you. We're so glad you're healing.
Thank you.
So thankful for you. Thank you so much. Final thoughts on this Afterglow Sunday.
I thought this was a great topic. I think more topics like this definitely need to be had and discussed. Not just had and discussed though. Come up with, like you say, solutions to the issues at hand. Because we can talk about it all day long, but what are we doing about it? That's the thing. That's the underlining question. So great topic.
Beautiful, beautiful. What we got coming up, y'all? Quickly.
We got join the app, join the school app, school.com/aftertongue. Like, join that. We're not doing, like, we got way too many things coming up. Like, it's too much. We do have
See us
what
over
is the
there.
next one that's coming up on the, no, we have a workshop that's coming up in June or July, one of the months. That's the one that's one that if you have any issues with surviving right now, what's thriving,
That's
might
going
want to join.
That's going to be interesting. I can't wait, because my Afterglow Sunday is going to deal with that also when it's time. I want to do it along the period of time where, you know, we really got the information out there, and those that want to follow along can.
The anthology will be out next month.
Yes.
The dates will be out very soon, over probably the next few days. But yeah, the pre-orders will be coming out. Obviously, we are behind schedule a little bit. You know, work with us. Thank you so much.
Right. And any other information, Southern Soul, before we get out of here?
Tuesday, we're about to say missing link, Tuesday, noon Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central.
Yes.
Yes.
11 a.m. Central, 12 p.m. Eastern, missing link every other Tuesday. And this
Every
coming
other
up Tuesday will be the next room. On top of that, that evening we have Them Dope Poets, excuse me, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern with the beautiful Miss Kim Mosby Summers. That will be on Instagram Live. And we have three amazing poets. We have Rainmaker,
Mm,
we have Metcalf the God, and we have Raze Moore.
beautiful, beautiful. My final thoughts in this thing is that I want y'all to stick around. I want you to feel empowered. I want you to feel that we would definitely be doing. Also, I have to plug my thing too. Every second and fourth Thursday of the month, I have the next move under the House of Love and Lyrics on Clubhouse. We would like for you to come in that space where your opinion matters and you're not judged and you get the free flow on the topic at hand. All right. This is the Lyrical Exodus, aka Big Crave. This is Afterglow Sundays. We will be coming to you every Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, where your verse and your voice is a witness, and that witness will always tell the truth. From here on out, y'all love yourself, love your soul. We hollering back, and we also let you know that we feel you in this flow. Big Crave, man. Lyrical Exodus. We out. Love y'all, man.
Verse, voice, and witness. Another Stays In production. Leave with your name, live.